All right. Fox News alert on the nationwide search for a serial mail bomber as investigators check out new suspicious packages sent to Robert De Niro, the actor, and former Vice President Joe Biden, after a string of similar devices were sent to CNN and top Democrats across the country yesterday. Joining us now, Dan Lynskey, former superintendent and chief of Boston Police Department. He joins us now. Dan, thanks for your time this morning. You've obviously been watching this all play out. What are your thoughts this morning as we now learn 3 more devices were found this morning?
I've spoken to some folks who have been looking at the devices, and right now it appears that they would not have functioned as designed. Whether that was intentional or not is unclear. Is this individual did not have the capability to do it? Did they design it in such a way just to make it look like it was going to happen? That doesn't mean that they couldn't explode. You can always have static electricity and other means that could cause these devices to explode. So clearly somebody who's looking for attention. It's defined as a serial bomber. The fact that the teams are taking these devices with them as opposed to disrupting them in sight means that they feel they can handle them safely, and that'll give them the best physical evidence in which to follow up and identify the individual responsible for this.
Are you surprised that they haven't found this person or persons yet, based on all the evidence that is at hand?
Not yet. It takes time. You've got to go through it slowly. You got to have Secret Service is going to look at. Secret Service has the largest ink library in the world. They're going to be looking at where the ink came from on those envelopes. The FBI is going to be looking for any signatures on the bombs. We saw in the Austin case, very quickly they were able to determine that there were unique screw sets that ATF Post Blast found that were only utilized in garage door installations. They started to focus on the companies in the area that specialized in that and identify their employees. And as they were going through that list, they started to develop other information to try and put suspects together. It was when the suspect went and bought a Home Depot sign that they were able to identify his credit card and identify him as somebody who worked in the garage door industry and had a connection to both. So they're going to piece these pieces of information together. Getting information out is helpful. We want to make sure mailrooms, people who could potentially be targeted here, have people on alert to make sure that they're looking for these devices in their mailrooms. And if they find one, to go to protocols, have 2 walls of separation between a device, 1 floor up, 1 floor down, until professionals can get there to render it safe.
When they do find the person responsible, which I don't know, do you think that could happen by end of day today? I mean, how soon do you think that might happen first?
It's possible. Law enforcement might have things that we don't know in the public realm. Those unique characters and typing on the envelope might be something they've seen in other cases where they've identified a subject. The person might have shed skin cells, might have left fingerprints. There could be signatures in the devices that they're tracking down as we speak. And between Secret Service, FBI, and the local authorities in New York and elsewhere, there's a lot of very talented investigators who will piece this together and put the pieces of the puzzle in place quickly and find this guy.
Would the penalty be, to go back to your initial point about the way these devices were built and what their actual intention was by whoever built them, would the penalty be the same? Obviously, nobody's been hurt. None of these went off. But based on what you just told us, would the penalty be the same for the person?
It certainly is. It terrorizes the individual it's intended for. It terrorizes the community as a whole. So it's a terrorist act. Whatever their motivation was, maybe there's mitigating factors if they deliberately took efforts not to make it function. However, again, these things can function. I have a personal experience of one of the reasons I pinned a badge on my chest. A police officer who was my best friend's dad was examining a device that had fallen off a car that everyone thought was a hoax, and it wound up exploding and taking his life. So these are potentially concerning. The fact that it didn't function is good. If that was intentional, that's better. Or is it that the person just didn't lack the knowledge and expertise to do it the proper way?
Dan Lynskey, thank you for lending your expertise to this and the information as well. Good to have you on the program this morning.
Thanks, Ada.
Very interesting stuff. We'll see whether or not it